we're going to explore the Notes app. So the first thing we want to look at are the folders that are available on the Notes app. It may try to default to iCloud if there's an iCloud account on the device, but you also have the On My iPad option, and then if there's an Exchange account and notes are turned on, you may have that. So it's important to note in the folders where the note is being saved to. In the settings, if you remember, we could turn on under the notes the On My iPad option. So that is a good place to usually save them to. The reason is if you do not have access to Wi-Fi, or if the iCloud or Exchange account is down for some reason, you will not be able to see the notes you've put there. So students would not actually be able to see those if something were to happen with the Wi-Fi during the day. So we always try to encourage them to put them on my iPad. If you need to, you can also make a new folder, which is at the bottom, and you can edit the folders that you have. So I'm going to create a new note under the On My iPad notes. So you'll see that I have no notes right in there currently. And in the lower left, I just wanted to point out you do have an option to pull up any attachments that you have in any of the notes on your device. So you could see a couple sketches just to play with the new features in there, and then a few websites that I actually created and shared with some staff members. But that is in the lower left under your notes, so you can quickly jump to those if you want to. If you'll see on the actual note itself, you do have two arrows which will expand that out to be full screen. Also across the top we have our trash can to delete, our share sheet, and then the pencil with the paper, which actually creates the keyboard. Now you could also touch on the note screen and it will pull up your keyboard, but that's another way to do it. So looking at the on-screen keyboard, a couple new things to point out is the checklist that you have. So you can make a very simple checklist. Those check marks, I can actually put a check in and it will allow me to see, oh, I've done that. I can uncheck it and go back to it if I need to. So that's what the check does. Beside that, you can change the title, the heading, the body. These are called your paragraph styles. So if you actually wanted to make a numbered list, you could do that right there. And then you could change that out if you wanted to just be a bulleted list. So you can change the paragraph formatting very quickly from the keyboard. Now over on the right hand side at the top of the keyboard, you also have your media option. Notice I can go into my photo library, or I can take a photo or video right in the Notes app. If you do add a photo, you cannot edit the photo or write over top of it in the Notes app currently. Now that may be something that is added later, but right now you currently are not able to do that. You can insert a photo though, or take a photo if you want. Another new feature is the drawing line, which will allow you to add a drawing to the note itself. Now when you add this, it is going to read it as a photo, so it will take up space, but you can put your notes above or below that. So you have your different options as far as what you can write with. You have your pen here, which is kind of a generic felt tip pen. You have a highlighter, which you can use and it will look as a highlighter. You have a pencil, and you can change the colors if you want. When you put the ruler on the screen, you'll see that as I got closer and I drew, it grabbed it, and now it's allowing me to draw a straight line. So that is a good thing with the ruler that's in there. You can rotate it, and it will tell you the degrees at which you're rotating. One of the things that is currently not available is actual measurement showing up on the ruler. I do believe that this is to scale, but it doesn't have any demarcations on it, so you would want to keep that in mind as you are doing this with your students. You can choose the eraser and erase anything that's on the screen. You can also choose erase all in the upper left. So if I do done, that will take me back to my actual document. And I can choose and type in anything on the keyboard. So if I type in notes for biology, and then I can start to take my notes. Maybe I want to go to my numbered list and I want to say cells are the building blocks. Now notice the predictive text kicks in, and I can actually start to choose that. Let's say that I needed to move the cursor. You have two ways to do that. You can hold your finger down on the screen, you get your magnifying glass, or if you want to move the cursor and have a few other options, you can also push two fingers down on the keyboard simultaneously, and notice now I can even highlight as I move the cursor so that I can do things if I wanted to while highlighting. At the bottom beside the space bar, I do want to point out dictation to you, as the iPad will use dictation as long as it's turned on in the settings. So if I come down to my second one and I'm talking about cells and I want to say something about white blood cells or red blood cells, if I choose this, white blood cells are important to fight infection. Then I choose done. That is how dictation works on the keyboard with the Notes app. It's a very nice feature. Students may need this. Now the other thing is your keyboard's where the face is. I can choose the emojis if I have them turned on. The other thing will be a world if I have on other languages. So let's say that I want my students to do this and they're also in French, so they're going to add some French. They could turn on the French keyboard and put that in there as well. So that is a review of the notes as far as creating one. Now if I want to share one, you'll notice the different things I can do. I can airdrop. I have different apps as far as which apps I can send this to. And if you have more apps on your iPad, some of them may be able to accept these. If you choose more, it's just going to kind of put it in the list view. And notice Notability is available. I just don't have it turned on, so I could turn that on and I could see that there. The other thing will be your copy, your print, and if I choose more here, I have no other activities that I could do, but if I needed to make a copy of this, or if I had the ability to print in my building, I could have my students do that right there. Thank you for watching this video. Please find our other modules on the WCPS Professional Learning site.